All right, hey folks, it's Faz here from Faz Lifts. Today I'm going to be talking about the topic of dealing with negativity as you improve your health and your physique in your journey in the gym. All right, before we get on to that, thank you for making it onto my channel. If you have a comment about this video or a question of your own, please go ahead and put it down in the comments. And there is also a link in the description if you'd like to work with me on your own physique journey. All right, so let's begin. Now, as usual, I have some notes. So this is a summary of the problem. Many people find that when they begin their journey of physique improvement, some areas of the friendship circle can react negatively. Now, this could be when you improve your habits. So it's things that you do on a regular basis. Perhaps you previously went out drinking a lot with your friends. Changing your habits may well alienate you from those people. Just changing your physique may well have an influence on certain parts of your friendship group, and changing your attitude towards certain things that may well mean that you are alienated from your friends. So this is the summary of the problem, and I want to just go in and, as the main part of the video, go into some of these different where some of this negativity comes from. So I think, first of all, insecurity breeds hate and hateful comments. I think sometimes people can be insecure about certain things, and that can then be set off, and then they decide to perpetuate this cycle of insecurity. So oftentimes people don't even realize they're doing it. And I see this, one thing that I see quite a lot, which hopefully will resonate with you guys, seeing as you're on my channel, is shaming bodybuilders or people who are just interested in physique improvement for showing off their muscles. So shaming somebody for being proud of the physique that they've built. Often this can come from the person who's doing the shaming, their insecurity about their own body. So what happens is they perpetuate the cycle of insecurity by saying something which then makes you feel insecure. And later that day, perhaps you feel insecure, so you might say something to somebody else. And it just goes around. So the first thing is, I think people's latent insecurities can propel them to saying these things. I often think a lot of times they're not aware that they're doing it either. These insecurities are deep-seated insecurities, perhaps coming from childhood. And when they hear something or see something that sets them off, boom, they just go and they just speak before engaging their brain. Most people don't really understand the deep-seated insecurities that are inside them, because most people go through their day-to-day lives without really thinking about those things. So then they say them to you, and there you go. So the next thing is, this is sort of like it's a different but related concept, is that often people carry quite a lot of pent-up pain and psychological trauma. So we go beyond insecurities here, and this is actual trauma that people might carry. And unknowingly, they'll let this out when if whatever you're doing or you're saying, or even just your presence, touches a nerve. And in this situation, you've got to understand that it is them, it's not you. And I'll give you an example of this. A few years ago, when I was preparing for a bodybuilding show, prior to that point, I had just only really competed in strongman and bodybuilding for 15 years or so. And while I was in decent shape, I was never actually shredded, because there was never any need to be. And so this is the first time I got really, really lean. And when you're lean and carrying a lot of muscle mass, your body tends to look quite striking. It's very visibly different. There are plenty of people out there who are big, plenty of people out there who are lean. But when you're big and lean, you stand out in a crowd, and it tends to cause strong reactions. So anyway, I put up a picture of my quad on social media, and it was the usual amount of positivity, and a lot of people were saying really nice things. And it was great for me because at an age of about 35 at the time, like 5 years ago, I had never really gotten those kind of compliments before. So I was really quite proud of what I had accomplished. But I had one friend who decided that this had hurt her inside, and so she sort of screenshotted it and just scribbled all these comments all over it, so like vain and this, like that. And in her mind, I'm sure it was a joke, but she sort of put it out there, sent it back to me. And it was quite difficult to deal with at the time, because I didn't actually expect it. It was all very new to me. I didn't expect it. And yes, I'm a grown man. I should be tougher than that, I guess. I suppose that's what people would think. But it was unexpected. So it did cause me quite a lot of upset. And I remember thinking at the time, this is a bit strange. But what I had to sort of come to terms with is the fact that she had her own issues with her physique, with her body, and she had her own insecurities about her body. So knowing me for a couple of years prior, she knew me as Faz, who was pretty big, but not in really good shape. And now all of a sudden I was Faz the bodybuilder. And this caused quite a lot of insecurity in her because it made her look at herself very differently. And often you guys will see that you'll be happily swimming along in life and you have a friendship circle who know you as who you are back then, who you were back then. And then all of a sudden you might change, you might drop 20 or 30 pounds and look completely different. Inside, you still feel like the same person. Nothing's changed, right? But outside, you are seen as very different, and that can cause quite a lot of insecurity. And if you have somebody like my former friend, hurt people, they may well lash out at you for causing them to feel bad about their own body, even though what you're doing is just trying to improve yourself. And so what they'll do is they'll perpetuate that cycle. The other thing that I've heard quite a lot of is when people try and make out that you're lucky to be able to do this. And one common thing that I hear a lot of is people will bemoan you for being lucky to have the time to be able to improve your physique, with the hidden assumption or insinuation that if they had the time, they'd be able to do this as well. We all have the same 24 hours a day in our lives. As adults, for the most part, we do get to choose how to live our lives. We are limited to a certain extent, but we are the product of much of our choices. And we all have areas where we devote more or less time to. So no doubt that person who is saying, oh, well, I wish I had the time in the day that you have to devote to this, they are devoting time elsewhere to something else. And that's fine. We all make different choices in life. But my point is, if they're saying that to you, don't feel bad, because they have made a choice to devote their time elsewhere. And that's their choice. It's just that in the moment, they're trying to perhaps make themselves feel better. The consequence is they're also attempting to drag you down because of what you have chosen to produce results in your physique or your attitudes. So don't let it drag you down. And next is, you're so lucky to have that body. That's another one that people say. Only you know how hard you've worked for what you have. And we all have a different genetic lot in life. You may have a harder time in some other areas. Perhaps you're really good with your physique. Perhaps you're just not very good in the brain department. Perhaps it takes you longer to understand things. I don't know. Perhaps there are other areas of your life. Perhaps you're really badly disorganized. You're always late. I don't know. But very few people are perfect in every aspect of life. So just understand, if somebody is bemoaning you for your physique, one, only you know how hard you've worked for your physique. And two, there may well be areas that other person is better at than you. So we all have a good range of pros and cons, and that's what makes us human at the end of the day. And just on that note, don't believe the myth of perfection in social media either. Social media is full of Photoshop pictures, bought social media followings, and people with disordered eating and the use of drugs, which will give you the false impression that they are perfect in every aspect of life. Trust me, more than likely, they're not. I'm certainly not. And I just want to end by saying that no one, whoever they are, has a right to make you feel bad about what you've accomplished in the gym or anything else. So if no one else has told you today, understand that me, Faz, I'm proud of you and your accomplishments. Have a good day.